Good morning. Today is 17th of June 2019, and this video is doesn't really have a business message. This video is just a walk down memory lane. So 25 years ago today, I was in Saipan. At the time, I lived on the island of Guam, and my wife had moved back to the United States. Her grandmother had died, so she had moved back a couple weeks before, and I, along with about 3 other friends, we all met on Saipan to play golf for the weekend, and also to celebrate the liberation of Saipan. It was the 50th anniversary, so today would be the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Saipan. And so one of the guys lived on Saipan, and then another guy lived in Okinawa, and then myself and another friend lived on Guam. And anyway, so we all met on Saipan to play golf. We played golf all day, and then that evening we were in a bar sitting and drinking beer, and there was a table of some World War II veterans next to us. And so I had, when the waitress came over, I asked, you know, can you send a pitcher of beer to those gentlemen there? There were 2 men and their wives sitting there talking, and when I sent the beer over, the guys asked me to come over, thank me for the beer, and then I ended up chatting with them. Well, it turns out they were P-38 pilots. So on my shirt here, that's the P-38, which when I was young, growing up, P-38 was one of my favorite World War II aircraft. The P-51 Mustang was my favorite, and then the P-38, it was such a unique aircraft. It had 2 tails, 1 pilot. It was the first aircraft that came out with turbochargers. It had twin engine, and the engines rotated in the opposite direction. And it was also really unique because if one engine went out, it could still fly back to, you know, potentially fly back to its base, depending on how much fuel. But they were long-range fighter bombers. And so, long story short, having a conversation with these 2 gentlemen, and they were telling me stories about the liberation of Saipan and liberation of Guam, and their fighting in the Pacific. And what I really found fascinating, and this is kind of why I'm doing this video, is the P-38 had all of its guns. It had I think 4 machine guns and a single cannon located in the nose of the aircraft. So it had 2 outboard engines, and then in the center was the where the pilot sat. In front of him was the location of the guns. Well, these guys were telling me that on their missions, one guy would be chosen to be the guy that would have the cameras, and they would take out the guns and put cameras in. And that really fascinated me, because when you think about it, you're going to battle, and let's just say you're in a formation of 10 aircraft. You're one of the guys that doesn't have any guns. You've got cameras. And I asked him, you know, man, was that like, when you were chosen for that, was it the kind of the kiss of death? You didn't want to do it? And they, no, didn't bother them in the least. They ran their mission just as if they had guns, and that was really fascinating. The other thing that was fascinating about that is, as we're sitting there drinking beer and talking, and these guys are telling me all these stories about World War II and the P-38, on the TV was a white Bronco chase, and it was OJ Simpson, and I think it was Al Collins was his name, doing the white Bronco chase. So that was 25 years ago today. Something was on my mind, and I just thought I would do a video about it. No business message. I guess the only business message is when you're asked to do something, even when it potentially puts you in harm's way, like take out your guns and put in cameras, do it anyway. And if those guys could shoot video under those conditions, we certainly should be able to shoot video on under these types of conditions. Thanks again, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.